On today's episode of i-Dentity, scientific researcher Ronny Mogege is in our i-Dentity coffee shop waiting to inspire us. We head to Mamelodi to discover how the benefit of reading is being taught to the youth. In our What's Happening segment, we review a workout app and a book that promotes spiritual awareness. And we wrap things up on a Setswana vibe with Janki Makopa.
I am an individual with an imagination. My inner faith illuminates innovations. In a space with infinite inspiration, I was born free from all incarceration. Incredible, living infallibly, intelligent, outshine with my inner being. This is me, impeccable as ever been. I am you, you are me. This is my identity.
Molweni sanamkela kwinkqubo yethi i-Identity eyenkolo ezahlukeneyo. Sithemba ukuthi iveki yenu izawuqala ngentshiseko. Ndingumsasazi wenu uViwe. Yesterday, the Hindu community celebrated Raksha Bandhan, which means bond of protection. This is a celebration of the bond between brothers and sisters. Sisters begin the ritual with a prayer, followed by the tying of a sacred thread called a rakhi around the brother's wrist. This symbolizes the sister's love and prayers for her brother's well-being, as well as the brother's love and lifelong vow to protect his sister. Kaloku unsulolwazi masingcebeleke kwinkqubo yanamhlanje. Kokuqala, masamkele undwendwe lwethu lwanamhlanje. In the past, scientists were often mistaken for old people sporting a mane of unruly hair and rocking horn-rimmed glasses with thick lenses. While if my guest is anything to go by, then definitely that's just a stereotype. The young man having coffee with me today is a scientist by profession. Ronny Mogege holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Medical Science, majoring in Chemical Pathology, and attained 10 distinctions at undergraduate level. He is currently a researcher for the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, which is known as the CSIR. I want to find out about his interesting career choice and what makes this individual tick. Ronny, welcome to i-Dentity.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. Before we get into the science of Ronny Mogege, ke batla ho tseba gore Ronny o goletse kae? Ke motho jwang?
Ronny ke moshimane lo gore o goletse ko nageng ya Manganeng ga Kgoshi Sekhukhune ko Limpopo. Ronny o goletse mo nageng e leng gore o gotse ka fase ga kgatelelo e kgolo ya tlala go ba yona poverty ka lem la sejatlhapi. E fela Ronny e be le moshimane o leng gore o be a theletša batswadi le ge le re ka mogae go be go le boima gore a kgone go phela ka fase ga seemo se e leng gore se le boima, especially go le re golela in an environment whereby there's a huge social and economic inequality. So Ronny be le moshimane o e leng gore o be a kry motivation from the fact that o be a le moshimane o bohlale ka mo tlelaseng. But despite all those challenges that I've had to go through, I've managed to persevere and I finally made it.
Sure. You know, that's such an inspiring story. Ronny, you speak about inspiration and perseverance. I want to know what role has spirituality has played in your upbringing?
I grew up in a Christian family. My mom was a Christian. She would always, advise me to put my faith in God. She'll always, tell me to pray, put God first, But sooner I realized that, that only inferred, some sort of, a temporary solution to my problems. Then I had to find a way, to mix, Christianity and faith with hard work, Then I put a lot of hard work and, the combination of the two had made me who I am.
Okay. And why medical science? Why choose that field?
All I wanted to do was something science related.
Okay.
Because if I remember very well, we never had things like career exhibition in the villages and the townships where I grew up. So all I wanted to do was to do something unique and something science related. So it was during my matric year when our circuit office in Dalsroom, Mpumalanga, organized some sort of a career exhibition.
Okay.
Where I got an in-depth information on, all science, related disciplines, And I got interested in doing medical science after getting all the explanations and everything, but I was still scared, because my parents would have wanted me to become a teacher or a doctor, because that was common in my community.
Which leads me to my next question, because a lot of people, when we think of medical science, you think of going into being a doctor, so obamaga, but you're focusing on biocatalysis. Tell us more about this.
Biocatalysis I linked at all the medical science. So what happened is after I graduated for my undergraduate, the situation at home, forced me, to go job hunting, So, I tried, applying for different companies, but then I couldn't get a positive response due to the fact that there was no automatic registration with the Health Profession Council of South Africa at my undergraduate level. So I had to explore other related disciplines, So I did some sort of an internet search, and then I got interested with what the CSR Biosciences Protein Technology Group was busy doing. They were busy doing some research on some green technologies and stuff. And then, I applied, and then, I got appointed as a GST NRF intern.
So, and is that how you became researcher at CSIR?
Yeah, so by bang offer a master's studentship. So then what happened is Bamfile, different topics, to select from. And then, there were two easy ones, and I opted for the difficult one, the third one.
Sure.
And the reason why I opted for the difficult one is because, I wanted something that can challenge me. And I was given something like a week, to read through the research topic, and formulate a research proposal for university approval, and it was approved. And that's how I began my journey as a researcher.
We got biocatalysis, but please explain in depth what is it and what does it entail?
Okay. Biocatalysis is a new field of chemistry that uses natural catalysts such as enzymes and microorganisms to perform, chemical transformations on organic compounds. So we can either extract our enzymes from plants or from animal species, So we don't, you can either use an isolated enzyme to do your chemical transformation, or you can use the whole cell, the whole microorganism like a bacteria, to perform the chemical transformation so that you can get the product that you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about jang hore bacha ba shebe di subjects tshwanang le maths le science, because re bacha le rona and re nagana gore those subjects are so difficult. So how important is it for us to actually look at avenues into maths and science and not be scared of those subjects?
Go botlhokwa gagolo gore ba di kgethe ka lebaka la gore ke di subject je le gore dilo tse dintsi tse le re a di bona le di lights tse ka mo studiong tse le re a di bona. The fact that lenaneo le le tla ba le ad mo televisioneng ke moshomo wa di scientists le di technologists. So go botlhokwa gore bana ba rena ba kgethe di maths and science subject, but tabeng we botlhokwa ke rata go emphasize gore batswadi ba fone gore ba bapale role. Ke understand gore most black parents have not walked the road, but go botlhokwa for bana ba to identify themselves the role models around their communities who have walked the road, ask them what they are doing in their fields, and then so that they can get a thorough explanation of subjects that they need to take.
Okay, so we have a quick word game. More dlala game ne. O ska tshoga ke kopa gore o wa tsaba ke re ntse re ba serious jwanong ga re tshoge ra ipuela fela ne. So game e it's a maso. You have to answer as quickly as possible and give you one word answers. So I want an explanation etelle. Are you ready? You don't look ready. Okay. What's the first thing you do in the morning?
I wake up.
What's the one thing you never leave home without?
Cell phone.
What's your favorite meal?
Pap chicken.
What musician or artist are you currently listening to?
KO.
What is your dream destination?
LA.
What is your biggest fear?
not to be a good parent.
What's the last thing you do actually before going to bed?
Think about my research work.
Typical scientist. Thank you so much for joining us on I-Dentity.
Thanks a lot. It has been a pleasure being here.
uRonny usisibonele esihle ukuba ikamva lakho alixhomekanga kwindawo ovela kuyo. Kwaye ndinqwenela ukuba intetho yam naye ikunikeze isibindi ukuba nawe uphumelele nakanjani na. What challenges have you managed to overcome in your life? Let us know by sending an email to identitytvshow@gmail.com. You can also hook up with us on the social networking scene. Search for I-Dentity TV Show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's time for us to take a short break. When we return, we head to Mamelodi to hang out with a few bookworms. Don't go anywhere.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
Namkelekile kwakhona kwi-Identity inkqubo ekuvuselela umoya. Ndinguviwe Xwala, enkosi ngohlala nathi. Statistics show that only 14% of South Africans are active book readers. With this disappointing figure in mind, a group of literature lovers started Long Story Short, a project that seems to prove that reading enriches the mind and the soul. Our team decided to take a leaf out of their book and join them at one of their events, and this is what they came back with.
This is my identity.
It is said that reading enriches the mind and the soul, opening up a whole world of possibilities. Today, the I-Dentity team is in Mamelodi, Pretoria, to witness an initiative that uses the written word to tap into a higher sense of enlightenment. Long Story Short is a literature revitalizing production which aims to celebrate and elevate African writers and their work by producing free podcasts.
My name is Marcelo Motana and I am the host of all the Long Story Short sessions. In today's digital world, we felt that it was important to bring up the level of African writers, because when you look online for podcasts, you don't find a lot of African writers. And for me, if someone is not in tune or has not been exposed to African literature, it's missing out on a whole catalog, that can expose you to different people's experiences on the continent, because there isn't this generic, there's different parts of the continent and different types of writers. So we felt that it was important to bring this large archive into a digital platform. Today we're going to read a Nigerian story. It's going to be read by Juanita Adams, who's a very accomplished performer. And what I love about the readings is that the different performers have brought different energies. Like the previous reading, it was Kulus Kenjana reading a story by Tandom Kolozana, which was really sad. So at the end of the session, everyone was feeling so sad, And then the month before, we had a funny story with lots of twists and turns by Nick Mhlongo, with the audience laughing and reacting in a certain way. So when you go through all the podcasts, you'll see that there's quite different shades of literature.
At the end of that day, he and I agreed that if we saw each other on the street somewhere, it would be okay to greet, but not much else.
So the format of Long Story Short is that we have approached some of our most capable performers, whether they are TV, theater or film performers, to come through and read a short story in front of an audience, and the story is then recorded and packaged into a podcast. We've chosen familiar faces because how do you get someone who's not interested in literature or books? This is our own subversive way of trying to attract young people through using celebrity storytellers, as we call them. This is an interesting way for me to start paying more attention to the space of books and literature and expression, particularly African literature, which is our focus.
Long Story Short is for me very, very exciting, and I'm thrilled to be part of the team. I was invited to come on board as a curator and help collate 24 stories initially by authors from the continent and put together for the collection. And I don't know. I think it's exciting. For me, it feels like a bit of a revolution or movement. And really our job is to just keep rolling and keep gathering and, getting a crowd around us for what we're out to do, and have people see what's possible from reading and sharing stories and meeting authors and engaging with this creativity.
South Africa is confronted with the challenge of illiteracy. This challenge calls for tough interventions to get South Africans to read. Long story short is an attempt to develop an informed society going forward.
Through reading, one has a better understanding of other spiritual practices, religions, ancestral practices. For example, the Yoruba system of the gods and shrines and priestesses. I would never know that had I not read certain Nigerian books, or the Sudanese writer Leila Abulela, who speaks about her experience as a Muslim woman. So it opens you up, and I think it makes you more tolerant. Whatever your chosen practice is, then you're more tolerant of other people's practices.
I love reading. Let's start there. I love reading. I think there's just so much more in each and every individual that we could discover, apart from the things that are already commercialized and things that are out there in the media. I feel that with interacting, we interact with other humans through learning about their minds. I'm a very intellectual person. I fall in love with people because of their minds, their brains, their intelligence. So if I can get a piece of that, and engage with other people and what they think of other people's ideas and what they think of other people's intellectual property, that makes me very glad. So I'm going to keep on coming to these readings because I love reading, but because I love interacting with people on that basis.
And pull out a flimsy stack of cards.
We're trying to inspire young people to be comfortable with expressing their opinions, and writing is the most basic form of expression. I mean, even the Bible says it began with the word. Long story short, is a very simple way of introducing this quest of ideas and expression through African literature. I think it's so important for us to try to find solutions or try to find inspiration through stories.
This is my identity.
Thank you to the Long Story Short team for giving us a glimpse into the wonderful work that they are carrying out. Remember guys, from the 1st to the 7th of September every year, South Africa celebrates National Book Week. Why not get yourself a book or two and create a culture of reading in your home or amongst your friends? Also consider donating old books that are gathering dust or packed away in boxes. It's time for another short break, after which we jump straight into our media review segment. Today we'll be reviewing a workout app and a book about self-discovery. See you in a moment.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
You're watching the multi-faith youth show that gets your Sunday off to an inspired start. This is I-Dentity and I'm Viwe. If you've just joined us, you've missed out on quite a bit. We started the show with an inspiring chat with scientist Ronny Mogege. We then spent some time with members of the Long Story Short initiative, learning more about the benefits of reading. Now it's time for today's media reviews. This is What's Happening. Apha kwi-Identity asijonganga ukunivuselela emoyeni kuphela, kodwa nokuninceda ninyuse izinga lomzimba nengqondo. Isiqendu sanamhlanje ke sithi ngqo kuloo ntetho. Kokuqala yi-app ebizwa Workout Trainer.
Workout Trainer is an app designed to help you achieve your fitness goals even if you don't have access to gym equipment. Using audio, photo, and video instruction, the app offers thousands of free workouts with step-by-step guidance. To get started, personalize the app for a better workout experience by selecting the Settings option. Here you can edit your profile and select workout preferences, such as how intense you'd like your workouts to be. Select the Exercises option for a list of workouts based on their popularity. the muscle group you want to target, or the workout equipment you want to use. Pick a workout and get started. For a list of all the workouts you have completed, liked or created, select the My Workouts option. The Stats tab uses a graphical method to help you track your goals and progress. Get your body summer ready by getting yourself the Workout Trainer app today.
From a physical workout to some mental and spiritual exercise, our next review is of a book that encourages spiritual awareness. It's called The Journey of Self-Discovery. Let's page through.
We all experience life differently, and yet we all have the same questions about life. The Journey of Self-Discovery is a collection of 31 fascinating essays, talks and informal conversations by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He touches on a range of subjects that are grouped under 7 subtitles such as superconsciousness, yoga and meditation, and material problems and solutions. The book teaches in detail about how one can get a balance of their lives using principles based on Vedic literature, which is literature based on or derived from the Vedas. The teachings also elaborate on how to resolve personal issues and social conflicts and guide the reader to a clear pathway where they can dwell in a state of permanent peace and happiness. If you are longing to free yourself from your routine and wish to spark new revelations about how you really want to live, then the Journey to Self-Discovery will equip you with a life plan on how to get there.
Did you know that about 80% of Africa's population relies on traditional medicine for their basic health needs? With this in mind, tomorrow marks the celebration of African Traditional Medicine Day, a day set aside to recognize the importance of indigenous healing methods and acknowledge the contribution they make to the lives of many of our people. We've now come to the end of this week's episode of i-Dentity. Don't forget that you can always get in touch with us by sending an email to identitytvshow@gmail.com. If social networking is right up your alley, then hook up with us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. i-Dentity TV Show is the name to search for on all 3 platforms. Wrapping up the show for us is the Setswana artist Janki Makopa and his song Reatuba. From me, Viwe and the i-Dentity team, may you have an inspiration-filled week. Goodbye.